in order for us to overpower those negative feelings or unpleasant feelings, we also want to keep in mind about the psychology and the thoughts in our head. So those negative ones, we can call them as maladaptive thoughts. Means that they are unhelpful thoughts in our mind. So what are they? There are many of them. So before I share with you more, so those maladaptive thoughts, another way to put it across are those distorted thoughts or dysfunctional belief that we may have. Even at this point where I share with you optimism, at times I'm still a human being. I will also may have some self-doubt. So no one in the world, even the president or prime minister in the country, do you think that they don't have self-doubt? Or they don't have those negative thought, negative feeling? Cannot be, right? They will still have. But their purpose, their motivation overpower those negative thoughts that they have. So the negative or maladaptive thoughts are the manifestation of our dysfunctional belief. So one of them, if you can see from here, so will be the all or nothing thinking. So it's something like being a perfectionist, either 0 or 100. There's no in between one. So one comment perhaps some people will make is, I make an error in my report. Just single error, you will feel terrible. Even though you have 99% out of the report all perfect. 1% incorrect or mistake, you feel terrible. So that is one way, one negative thoughts that we could have. Another one is overgeneralization. So this will be refers to making an overall negative conclusion beyond the current situation. So I can say, I failed the interview. I will never get a chance again. So because of one incident, you overgeneralize the whole situation of all other situations. Then the third one is mental filter. Mental filter means you only focus on the negative parts of the situation. So you can say, even though I received positive comments on my presentation, just one of my colleagues make a nasty comment, I've been thinking about it for a few days. Experienced this before? Yes, right? So even out of 5 people in the audience, one person say a negative remark, then you are being bothered by it. But 4 others give you compliment and appreciate you. You never think about it. So this is one of the maladaptive thoughts. Then 4th one will be disqualifying or discounting the positive. So all of us will have certain accomplishments, but if we choose to ignore them, we are having this, we discount the achievement or the credential that we have. So we means that even though you have what, master degree or PhD, people may just forget and they think that actually right now it doesn't matter anymore. But actually it's not true, they matter. So your past experiences or qualification or achievement does matter to shape who you are right now, or can give you an added advantage. Then 5th one is magnification or minimization, which means that you magnify those mistakes or those negative and minimize all the positive. So those mistakes I made in the training will result in poor feedback overall. So this is not a good comment or good thought to have. And one quite common, jumping into conclusion. And nowadays change happen very quickly. So do you all have new boss, new supervisor, or new colleagues? Okay, don't have good. Stability is good. Yeah, so if you have, then you can, negative people will think that, oh no, I think my new boss have a bad impression of me. Then die. Anything I do will be marked or be condemned. then it's bad because of one mistake or one error. So it's not good. Another one is emotional reasoning. So you think of some of the feelings to reason, give yourself a reason why you feel that way. So you make justification why you feel down. So I feel hopeless, I must be really hopeless. So eventually means that because of a mild feeling, you take it as the truth. So which is not good. And another maladaptive thought will be labeling. So labeling, I think it's quite easy. If you have children, it's very easy to label someone or label your loved one. So without finding the actual attributes or the truth. So because of one incident again, you make a conclusion saying that I'm a loser or failure. And the next one is some people like to shoot themselves. Some people like to put mask in a lot of things. So they can say that I should work well with all my stakeholders in order to be a star performer. Is it possible? In reality, example, NAC, how many staff do you have?
Together with temporary about 240, 250.
200 plus.
Total, yeah.
Okay. So imagine if you are the top management, do you think that you can work well with all the 200 plus staff? Impossible, right? So impossible. So if you can work with majority, you'll be fine already. But it's impossible to have. Sometimes we use all or always. Then that is also putting ourselves in a very impossible state to achieve perfection. It's impossible to work well with everyone. Am I right? Yeah. But of course, if we can't work with someone, then we need to do some reflection. Why is it so? Or perhaps the person had a bad day, or perhaps you didn't give a good remark, or you didn't appreciate the person. Of course, we can still do those reflections, but it's impossible to work well with everyone. Yeah. Then the last one is personalization. So it's about putting the behaviors of others to the result of our action. So one comment is like, she has been pretty quiet today, so I wonder what I did to upset her. So because of the negative behaviors in your peers or your family, you think that, oh, you are the fault. You are the one who caused the person to behave negatively. Either become quiet, become disgruntled, or withdraw. So you put yourself as the blame. So all these maladaptive thoughts are unhelpful. The essential thing for us is to be mindful of them so that we don't fall into those traps that we put ourselves into. Yeah. Then in order for us to overcome those maladaptive thoughts, we need to question and challenge them. How can we challenge them? Simple way is asking evidence. So we ask ourselves, is there any evidence to those thoughts that we have think about? And most of the time, there's not sufficient evidence. Maybe one or two, but it's not conclusive. Then we also ask another way to think is, if our family members have such thoughts, how would we tell them or say to them? Another way to question is, after taking in consideration of all the information, is there an alternative thoughts that I can think about? Means finding alternative. Don't be stuck in this thought. So challenge our thought, configure our thoughts, reconstruct our thoughts. Don't take the automatic thought as the truth. Yeah. So you need to do some analysis, reflection. So that's one of the solutions for us. And adding on, how can we be, okay, maybe before I continue, anyone find some of the maladaptive thought familiar? Anyone? That, or you can Okay, let me open up the chat. You can put in the chat if you do not wish to speak. Any of the maladaptive thoughts is familiar to you?
Raymond, do you find number 9 a big thing in Singapore, especially with the do or die attitude that we have in terms of work? Pointer number 9.
Okay. Okay, for pointer number 9, the challenge will be people who are the high achiever. Yeah. High achiever sometimes will put themselves in the sometimes can be unrealistic situation. So if they think that they want to be star performer, then they will put a lot of stress in themselves. Unless they are able to cope with the stress and they want to be everything, do everything very efficiently, very productive, then if the person can cope, then it's okay. But if the person cannot cope, then will be what you have said, tired, stressed. So another side of the situation will be thinking about our competency, whether our competency can meet up to our expectation. If cannot, then we need to raise our competency or raise our emotional intelligence to cope with higher expectation. If not, we may need to moderate our expectation. This will be my assessment. It's normal to, I think it's normal to have such useful. Okay, yeah, so great. Yeah, that's why it's important for us to be aware of those thoughts. So it's, I would say sometimes it's almost inevitable that we may have 1 or 2 thoughts pop up in our mind. So it's okay as long as we don't let those automatic thoughts stick in our mind and then hamper us or cripple us to perform or to work well with others. Okay, Ken? Yeah.